Hello, hello! For the 25th anniversary of Windows 95's release, I thought I want to do a small April's Fool kind of post-go live by 25 years review of Windows 95, and you will find that this video hasn't really been planned because I've been trying to plan it, and Windows 95 being so ancient, it just keeps breaking. So I want to make this a bit amusing, a bit funny, and just see how many times the whole shit breaks. So what has been done before the video itself is that I installed 95 on the VMware and done a few updates to it to make it run with a modern CPU. And I installed not the first version, so actually it's from the 97 version, and also done a few updates and installed Office 95 as well. So just see how it goes and, you know, enjoy the ride. As I said, it's not really planned. It takes a bit to boot up even nowadays, but it's not too bad. And one of the things you'll notice that, especially in the video, everything's way too small. Oh well, there you go, the monitor layout died. Well, wonderful. That's because it's in full screen. So you'll notice everything's a bit small, and what I have done to make it bearable, I set everything to large font and comparatively big. Yeah, I could up it more and we'll see what happens. Well, it works. It might not do any good to you guys watching this, but yeah, there's absolutely no accessibility in 95, no such thing. So if you had any visual problems, then that was rather unfortunate for you. So again, apologies for anyone watching this in 4K or any such. That's the best you'll get out of this one. I said this would be an amusing thing. And one of the things I wanted to do is go on Wikipedia and just go on to say Windows 95. Well, if you use IE and .wikipedia.org, can't type on this. I'm telling you, it's not going to work. Like, it's just not doing anything. Also, I updated to 5.5, so this is a new and shiny version of Internet Explorer. So Opera works within reason, but what you will find is it's telling you Opera is way too old, you should update, and you are doomed. And our start D doesn't work in this, so you can't minimize. I still are not woken up, and I installed OMG. That does something, probably the same thing. Okay, there you go. And there's Firefox, which starts and then it shuts down. So there's that. We're a bit doomed. So I am cheating, and I have Wikipedia on my phone. And you'll just have to bear with this. So Windows 95 was released in August 1995. Now this video will be published 1st of April because I think it's funny enough to go for a 1st of April video. So it won't quite be 25 years old, but that's fine. And if you're old enough to remember, this was actually quite a thing after Windows 3.1 and 3.11, because this was Microsoft's first operating system, although it was still bound to DOS. But it looks significantly more like modern versions of Windows, more so than 3.1 did, which was really an add-on to DOS. And you know, it included 32-bit applications, kind of, but one of the main things about 95 was that it could handle long file names. So in old versions, and you had it with, let's see how much this works. Yeah, that didn't. If you, I don't know about this. if you go back to DOS mode and you want a list of files, you'll just see that everything is back in the old 8.3, where the file name was no more than 8 characters and the extension was no more than 3 characters. And I don't think there's a program files in here. Yeah, there is. So like, you know, that program_1, that's supposed to be program files. So that's how the old world used to handle all this file naming, and I've not done this for about 15 years. Oh yeah, it does restart. Marvelous. I think it will crash, by the way. No, it didn't. Cool. The last time I tried this, it just got stuck in Windows is restarting and nothing ever came out of it. Yes, I know. So going back to Wikipedia, so it was dependent on DOS, and DOS was an underlying component. I'm actually reading, so apologies for the breaks, but it's all irrelevant. One of the things that was saying, unlike Windows 3.1, DOS programs running in 95 do not need the DOS drivers for mouse, CD-ROM or sound card. Yes, so Windows 95 could pseudo-independently handle the devices, and even though it was advertised as plug and play, it's nothing like how it goes nowadays, that you just stick in something and Windows 10 goes online and updates the drivers, or pretty much knows them all by heart. But then one of the things you might want to look at is how much or how little space this whole thing takes up. You know, that's the Windows folder. It's 100 megabytes, and I already installed a fair bit of junk, so it probably defaulted to a lot less. And again, look, everything apart from the folders is 8.3. I mean, Office takes up 65 megs in a bit, and I did install Office because I thought, yeah, we're all using post 2007 versions of Office, and I think most of us don't really remember what it used to look like. And funnily enough, I've not started Office 95, so I don't have much of an idea how it's going to behave, which is why this whole video is amusing for me, and I've not done improvisational videos before, but you'll just have to bear with it and with me, really. So going back to what 95 needed, it needed an Intel 386 or compatible, 4 megs of memory, and a whopping 50 megs of hard disk space. Now, my first hard disk was a Samsung Apollo 280, which was 280 megabytes in 95 actually. So, you know, Windows would have taken up almost a quarter of that. Apparently it was possible to run Win95 on a 386 SX, which was the dummier version of the 386s. And also, what makes it slightly more difficult to run 95 nowadays is that it wasn't designed for new computers at all, so it might fail to boot with more than 400 megabytes of memory, 480, and it can't really deal with 2 gigs of memory. So the way this was done, the way this was set up is, now you see all my virtual machines. Yeah, so I gave it 128 megs because I think it doesn't really boot on 256, or at least they had some issues. Obviously 1 core, and I gave it 8 gigs of hard disk space. That's enough. There's no more needed, and yeah, just all that joy. And I don't really know what version this is, because that just says Windows 95, so, and it says 1995, but I'm reasonably sure this is either 2.1 or 2.5, because it's basically not possible to run the original Windows 95 on any decent computer nowadays, and in VMware it's significantly more painful than than this. At least this one can do a few things. So I'm still trying to find what was really new in this. Technical improvement, user interface. Oh, you know what, I'll just show you around, and then we'll get into Office and do a few things. So one of the things I attempted to do was do shared folders and connect them as guests. I mean network drive, sorry. And it doesn't work. So I did manage to get Total Commander going, which is marvelous, and that's a virtual CD drive. And yeah, there is nothing in the network neighborhood, and it should be connected as the Z drive, but of course no such thing. So I hid all the hidden in system files because I don't think we need them much. So you get the My Documents and the My Pictures, which all come empty, and default program files, which has Paint. Now I'm not going to start painting too much because I'm sure there are about 5 million YouTube videos on Microsoft Paint. So there you go, that's a stickman, it works. That's as far as it goes. Yay. Let's not save that as a bitmap. There's Wordpad, which was again quite an OMG thing, and top of my head I think it saves rich text format, but again I'm not going to save it. CFD about 1996, so yeah, it's definitely some comparatively new version of 95, as new as they get. No idea about half of these things. We're not going to do terminal. Yeah, AT&T mail. Does AT&T still exist? No idea. But CompuServe, definitely gone. What's in that? Do not modify the file, else death awaits you. Data sources. Gods only know what the hell this is. Stationary proofing. What's in system? I don't know. DirectX. I think one way to figure out there should be DirectX in control panel, except it isn't. What if I say there you go, kind of works. Yes, it did get the CPU, and I presume they never imagined that would happen. DirectX 8, that's definitely been upgraded. How about, it looks a bit silly because it's scaled to 120%, but I'm not going to undo this, not the least because I think it would crash the whole computer, or at least it would crash the virtual computer. Yeah. Music. Can we play music? No. Yeah, okay. Fine. Yeah, clearly that worked. You. Yeah, we have that. That one doesn't work. Net meeting. Can we start a conference? No, not really. Yeah, never mind that. Online services. You're not going to play with this because I don't see the point. Opera, we know it works. Outlook Express. You know what? I'm not going to even attempt logging into my Gmail. No. Windows Update. I don't think that's the Windows Update we're used to. And there's nothing to run. I mean, I could try some of this shit, but nah. Well, Windows Update didn't exist at the time, so you know, Microsoft released a few versions of Windows 95, and that was that. And then within Windows, you have the users, application data, junk. Command, which is the old DOS part, but yeah. yeah, so we could, how about this? Oh yeah, I can't do command. Format, yeah, parser, no idea. Yes, I know. Obviously, you can't format the C drive if it's running, and I don't mean to do it, but I just wanted to see what happens if I check disk has not done this. Well, yes, I know it terminated. and think of it this way, this was super user friendly back in those days. How about Fdisk? Da-di-da-di-da-di-da. Yeah, why not? I'm just being amused here. And create DOS partition, let's say 4. And I have an active partition, which is FAT32. And yes, that makes this a newer version of Windows, because FAT32 came in. So I did tell you this was going to be an ad hoc video. This one, FAT32, came in the OSR2 release, which was mid-96. So initially, Windows 95 didn't support a whole bunch of things. So initially there was no Internet Explorer, which, yeah, back in 95 wasn't a biggie, and Netscape would have been a lot better anyway, but nothing was in it, and there was no DirectX, no UDMA, which, for those of you that don't know, think of it as a predecessor to Serial ATA, if you know what that is, or just basically a disk transfer protocol of sorts, but that was significantly faster than whatever it used to be before. USB support came in 97 as a supplement to OSR2. So before then, 95 didn't do USB. There was no AGP either, which was a graphics card interface. Yeah, you couldn't run it with a certain type of Pentium processor, a P-Pro, until about 96. So 95 initially looked a lot like it was a pre-release product that had been pushed to the market, and I think nope. Oh, that worked. Now I think so you can download 95 from here, because it's out of Microsoft's I don't know, rights. They don't do it anymore, so somehow you can download 95 from here. And point being, you can also download the pre-release versions of 95 from here somewhere. Clearly when I downloaded it, it looked a lot different. I don't care about that, and Opera just crashed, so yay. Anyway, point being, you can download 95 if you want. Right. Let's look at what's available. So that I installed and it doesn't work. There's a bookshelf, which I don't have, so that will work not. Accessories, yeah, I think I'm connected. Could play the games, but we're not going to. There's a CD player. System tools, compression agent, defrag, scan disk. Alright, system monitor. Nothing's happening. Okay. Startup. Yeah, that's all Office junk. We'll look at Excel in a moment. DOS prompt. I found DOS prompt. Yay. Control panel. I think that was new. And you can set the date and time, check the display. That's an Office thing. Basic fonts, gaming options, no Xbox support obviously. Keyboard, I think it's set to US or not, maybe, yes it is. Should I attempt to set it to what's home for me? Let's see if that works. Get rid of that. Yeah. Well done. Okay, that kind of worked. While I'm at it, I'm not in the US. British, yeah, sure, let's restart the computer, see if it crashes. I mean, you know, imagine like, oh yeah, I want to change the keyboard, yeah, let's restart the whole shit. That wouldn't really work nowadays. At least if the member control panel was open. Yeah, don't have anything else here. How about last try to figure out system. So it's a version B. There you go. I should have started here. Version B was not the last version. It was one of the penultimate versions, of which there were 3. But that's fine. There is very little in version C that we would care about, and yes, I know, bleep off. Performance. Okay, why don't we look into Office? So let's check out Excel. And those are all the things new in Excel. There's an answer wizard. I haven't used this for ages. I don't really remember how it works, but that was obviously before the ribbon came along. Even in, let's see what functions they have. So you have the basics, there's Vlookup. OMG, there is Vlookup. And stuff to remember, old version Excel didn't go up to a million rows. It only went as far as 16,000 rows, which back in those days was big. And it went to, what's that, 256 columns, I think. Yeah, I'm curious. So clearly you can't type in here, and you can't just say calculator or any such thing. You have to find it, and if it's in here, I'm being funny, by the way. So 256, some such. I'm sure I got the numbers wrong. Oh yeah, how about this? Row times column. Yeah, it works. That's how many cells it could deal with. And you will notice one of the things, appreciating there is no data here, but here you can't. So what I did, I was trying to tab, because in your versions, if you start typing something, it would offer you the relevant choice, and you can press tab, and of course there's no such thing here. So that doesn't work. It clearly doesn't really support the 120%. Look at all these sheets. I mean, why on earth do you need 16 sheets to start with? That's marvelous, isn't it? How about this? Alright, fruit, apple, pear, banana, and oh, I don't know. Let's do charts. I'm doing charts. Sold 1, 2, 3, and let's do a chart wizard. They clearly have not done this. That didn't work. Yes. Okay. And let's do a pie chart. Look how marvelous it looks. Look at ban. Yeah, that's not what I expected. Yeah, this is the height of graphics in 95, or maybe it wasn't. I actually don't know what Apple looked like at the time. I don't have a virtual super old Mac. Never used them. Can we change the chart type? No. Can be format. You could do a whole bunch of junk. Round corners and dashy style. That's a border. Yeah, let's not do that. Okay. So, you know, basically Excel used to be significantly more of a spreadsheet thing. You can't do any web-based, and you can't do any smart stuff in it. Clearly you can do pivot tables. Okay, let's do a pivot table. Okay. No idea. That's the range which I already asked you to select, which you ignored. Yes. Oh wow, this is amusing. This has to be manually done. Yeah, just stick it there. I mean, you know, there's no actual real data here, and of course that's how you can change things around. And no idea about half of these. Oh yeah, you can change it to count. For us it's not going to be. How about this? Let's stick it in another apple and say 5. Go back and say B5. Finish. And now it works. That's not too bad. You can right click and instruct it to do things within reason. Or not. I was trying to get this guy to come up. Count. So why aren't you saying it's 2 counts of apples? There you go. Counter sold. Group, ungroup, hide detail. Okay, yeah, I think you've seen enough of Excel. How about we do PowerPoint? It can do black and white view. Whatever. Alter content template blank. Let's start with blank. And choose a layout. Oh, I don't know. Go off. I'm curious if I do this again. Can I copy paste? Oh wow, I can. That's nice. Yeah, apologies to anyone watching this in 4K. It's how it is. You can edit the chart object, and it pasted in the whole bloody Excel sheet. Okay, well that's what it's supposed to do. So, a Office 95 demo, 20 years on, and I can't count clearly because it's 25. Now, if I do F5, which is supposed to be the start presentation in newer versions. No F5, no Shift F5. Am I missing? I mean, I could just do slideshow, but I was looking for. Hey, no keyboard shortcut. Auto clip art. Yeah, I don't think I can get clip art from. Oh wait, there you go. Hey, why didn't we do that bit? Doing doing. See, we're all missing out on this in Office 365. No weird bunnies. Okay, that is the Office 95, and admittedly I'm tempted to cut the video here because I think it's been going for about 30-40 minutes without me checking, but that was the comparatively short totally ad hoc video for checking back on a 25-year-old operating system and Office. And you know, feel free to drop questions or comments. I'll try to answer them within reason. And hey, thanks for watching. Let's shut down and get on with the day. So there you go. Thanks for watching.